You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AFTERBUZZ TV's Revenge After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Revenge After Show.
Welcome, everybody. Bing is for doing, and we're here doing another Revenge. Season 2, Episode 8, Revelations episode. Yes. The winter finale.
Woo! We got some party music? No? Okay.
We should. Well, we have the Revenge theme song going, so that's
right.
Party enough.
That's all right.
For those of you who are not watching currently, it is just Katherine Tulich and Phil Svitek tonight. Gabby, unfortunately, as you guys heard her from last episode, she was kind of sick, and now it's full-blown sick, and fortunately, Anna couldn't be with us tonight, so we're here.
We're here to celebrate the finale with champagne.
With the champagne. Hey, unfortunately, we had it divided for 4 people.
That's right.
And now it only came down to 2 people, so pardon the slurs.
It's no responsibility for tonight.
That's right. All right, let's get to the quote. I know Gabby usually does this, and I know you guys love her when she reads it, but, you know, let's go with me. For the righteous, revelation is a joyous event, the revelation of a divine truth. But for the wicked, revelation can be far more terrifying when dark secrets are exposed and sinners are punished for their trespass.
That champagne is kicking in a bit, isn't it?
Plus, it's also my writing. Yeah. To be fair, it's the champagne, it's my writing. Interesting quote. Obviously, you know, a lot of things came out. Last episode, the Thanksgiving episode, again, a flashback episode, but a lot of stuff tied in today and made more sense, which was great.
Yeah, which is good, because then we feel like that last week's episode wasn't just a filler, it actually was setting up for today. Yeah. Which was great.
Which a lot of you guys agreed with us, mainly on YouTube, about it being a filler episode, but I'm glad it wasn't just that. It gave us something more to talk about. All right. In terms of revelations and sins, let's get right into the church with the christening.
Well, it's very interesting that Revelations has such religious meaning, doesn't it? And we straight away went into something very religious, a christening. So I felt that was kind of had some meaning. When you're talking about evil and revelations, you think of the church, and there we had a church and a christening.
Well, let me ask you this. I kind of made a joke of it, but yeah. I mean, this kid, he's born as kind of an evil child. I mean, he's basically an abomination to a degree. I mean, he's a lie.
He's a lie, and you mean because well, you can't blame the child.
I can't blame the child, but I can blame Emily.
Yes.
If there's anyone you could blame, it's Emily, and you can blame Amanda, yes.
Yeah.
And the victim is Jack and the baby.
Victim is Jack and the baby, and he's also named the baby after his father, hasn't he, Carl? And he doesn't.
Who is a victim?
Who is a victim, and also doesn't realize, I guess, you know, how that story's going to unfold as well. So this poor baby has a lot on his shoulders already for such a young thing.
It does. Poor child.
Yeah.
And, I mean, just even its godparents alone, I mean, I don't know if they're the strongest, most, I'm trying to figure out the word. It's the champagne again.
I wouldn't mind having Emily as my godmother. She would kick ass.
Well, from a finance, she would kick ass and she would be financially responsible, sure.
Yeah.
But in terms of like actually responsible, for lack of a better term, I don't know if Declan and Emily are the greatest role models.
Especially poor old Declan. Yes, exactly. Yeah. But I felt like the most important scene of this christening was the long, pensive looks that Emily was giving Jack and fake Amanda and the baby. So, which obviously Amanda had picked up on too, that she's still craving either she's craving Jack or she's craving just a normal life, you know, a baby, a husband. What did you get from that?
I got the same thing, and you know, I want to let's hold off on that for one moment. But the last thing I'll say is that to me, this episode was all about, if this was a revelation, the revelation for Emily was, this is a full-time job. Like, this is not just a mission, this is not just a task, but it's a full-time job, and this is my life.
Yeah.
You know, and as Aiden says, like, this is what we do. You know, it's not, it's who we are, and this is what we do, and practically we'll do it for the rest of our lives. And it's not just this. It's not just the Graysons. This, you know, after the Graysons, there's going to be something. But we'll get into that. I want to, and the reason why we'll get into that is because I want to focus on the murder, or quote, murder, because it's not an actual murder. Yeah. So there's some hype going on the internet saying that it was Kenny who planted the idea of using the black book, which I think is very false. Because here's the way I saw it, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And Catherine, you can fight me on this, and internet, you can fight me on this as well, because clearly the internet is already fighting us 5 minutes after the show. But Jack was looking at the black book that his father left behind, and you know, Kenny saw this and he was like, "What are you doing?" "Oh, I'm inviting, you know, these guys. They were there. They were very supportive of my dad's funeral, and they said, 'Don't be a stranger.'"
Yeah.
And I think that implanted the idea to Kenny, but people are saying Kenny implanted the idea to Jack to use the black book.
Yeah, exactly. No, I tend to actually agree with you. I think it was more that Jack was looking at people that was in his past and that he should invite to the christening.
Yeah. Which is a smarter writing technique anyway.
Yeah, yeah. No, I tend to agree with that. So, and then I think Kenny saw it as an opportunity.
Yeah. I mean, how tragic was it that Duncan came in? I mean, if this baby was born only 3 weeks later, or Duncan had come in 3 weeks earlier.
I know. What timing. If only Duncan had come back earlier to warn Jack.
By the way, I mean, there's a serious life lesson. Honestly, there really is. Always do a background check on who you're going to do business with.
Yeah. Well, this is my big thing tonight. I sort of think, I know Jack's not the brightest boy out there, let's face it. He's a pretty face, but he's not the smartest guy out there. Why? You know, these guys come in as the Ryan brothers. Yeah, exactly. Why didn't he check their background, where they were from, and perhaps that they had a link with a past person?
With Joe Ryan. Yeah. I mean, it's to play devil's advocate, 6 years removed. Ryan is kind of a common name. I don't know in terms of the scale how common it is. I mean, certainly Smith is #1 in terms of the American culture. But, yeah, I mean, he should have done a little background check. I mean, if a Ryan comes snooping around and you know Ryan from your past and you haven't really moved and it's on the docks, then...
Yeah, there's a good chance.
But again, I'm willing to let it slide because Jack isn't the smartest. Whereas here in terms of the meter, I think Daniel was below Jack.
Yeah. And
as season 2 has been progressing, Daniel's been getting smarter and Jack's been getting dumber.
Dumber, definitely.
You know, and it's an unfortunate thing. So you know, I believe it, but it's sad that he didn't think of it.
Yeah.
Ultimately, what it comes down to for me. And poor Duncan. I mean, you know, if only his timing had been a little bit better. And he was trying to be secretive, but clearly the Ryans have no shame.
Yeah. Although I do have a problem with the way the Ryans are portrayed. They are a little cliche bad guys, you know, the misty doc, and they're coming in, you know. I mean, it's like, how many films have we seen like this, you know, where he's like... I just find the Ryan brothers are... I mean, I'm definitely more interested in this storyline now. I think they've given it a lot more substance now. But the two guys playing the Ryans, no offense to the actors, are just playing in a little, like, cliche-heavy man. Don't you find that there's just not a lot going on there other than...
I mean, I think partly it's because we have to spend so much time on these different things. And so, I mean, if there's an A storyline and B storyline, this is probably the E storyline.
Yeah.
And so you kind of have to make a cliche in order to get the point across in a fast way. Which brings up a nice point. You know, we were kind of knocking the storyline early on, and if this was a movie, we're probably at only like minute 24, 30. So we should have a little bit more faith. That's what I've come to realize, especially with Revenge. Like, these things will fill up. What did you think of the reveal in terms of now that he knows that they're incognito and how he's going to kind of deal with the situation.
Well, we're talking about sort of even the ending here where he goes to the boat? Yeah,
we can talk about the ending.
Well, I mean, he obviously goes to find the gun. Now, is this the gun that obviously was hidden on the boat?
Yeah, because it was all wrapped up.
Yeah.
And he didn't tell Amanda.
Yeah.
I guess
So now
Declan,
he's keeping secrets from Amanda.
Yes, and Declan kind of knows.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's safe to say he knows.
Yeah. But yeah, obviously the gun that he's found, we don't know whether that gun's going to be used again, what's going to happen with the gun, but obviously now he realizes that this gun was hidden on the boat, the one that killed Joe Ryan.
Let me ask you that.
This is, and we talked about this last week, and I'm still, we mentioned last week, did the boys know that their father was killed? But it sounds like tonight, when they were sort of questioning Duncan, that they actually did not know what happened to their father, because they said he just disappeared. So are we assuming they only really found out tonight, that they now suspect that Joe killed him?
I think they always knew that Joe was a bad guy, but they thought all of that was a coincidence.
Right.
Let me ask you this, if I may, as a final thought before we kind of move on. Is Jack going to be defensive, or is he going to be offensive about this?
Well, it's interesting. I'm not sure, actually. Do you think Jack would go after them, or do you think he's just found the gun to sort of figure out the story, be on his guard?
The act of, usually when you go to that, I mean, it indicates to me that he's going to be offensive.
No.
Because it seems like he would have to be.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I'm going to go offensive.
Yeah, and there's this storyline again that's been alluded out there by even Gabriel Mann, that there is something going on with the boat and someone's going to die on this boat. But I didn't see any evidence of that, again, of that tonight. So I presume that's coming up. So you might be right about the offensive, that maybe he invites the Ryans on the boat or something happens on the boat. But it sounds like something's going to happen on that boat, going by kind of the rumours out there.
And I think too, he wouldn't have lied otherwise. I mean, he could have, but I think everything indicates by his actions lying to the Ryans of like, Duncan, luckily he survived. So he's kind of taking a jab at it, but then, he's saying like, he didn't say anything, he was just stabbed from behind and he didn't know what happened. So I think he's leading them down a path.
Yeah.
So that's what that indicates to me. So luckily the storyline is going somewhere, and I have a little bit, I've always had trust in the writers, but now, thankfully, with this storyline, I trust them a lot more. This was the only storyline that was,
Yeah. And just to finish off on the christening thing, let's not forget there was the scene with Charlotte saying that, my role model of parents is so bad. So she was kind of commending the parents of her niece, which is not really her niece.
That's right. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I remembered, but then I was like, wait, she's not.
That was kind of the only really moment we had with Charlotte tonight, right? Wasn't it?
Yeah, we haven't really seen Charlotte in a little bit.
No, that was kind of her only scene, basically, tonight as well.
Yeah. So speaking of...
No, sorry. I was just going to say, I don't know if we're going to talk about that later, but also with the christening, we have the scene, obviously, with Amanda talking to Emily, but do you want to talk about that?
We'll talk about that a little bit later,
okay, Sure.
Let's talk about exotic women, because that's what we love to talk about. Salvador Gorbea. I liked how it started off, this episode, really. I mean, essentially, this is where we start off at the shooting range. Victoria's there, Ashley's there, Daniel's there, Aiden's there, Nolan's there, Victoria's there, Conrad's there.
And no one got shot.
No one got shot.
What? What's going on?
No one got shot. Fortunately, we don't know how good a shot Jack is. That might have been an indicator of whether or not he was going to go offensive or defensive. Yeah. But apparently, everything lies with this guy in terms of the vote, whether or not Conrad's going to get this or Daniel's going to get this. And a lot of it went into play here. Everything that was kind of set up started really here, the core of it. I mean, I didn't, I joked about it when they set up the exotic women. He likes exotic women.
Poor Ashley, we knew right. Both of us kind of said, "Yep, here we go again."
Yeah, but it was interesting. Again, to give credit to the flashback episode, I didn't really think that Ashley would go 360. Ending up where she basically began as
Yes, not much more than where she started as a prostitute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's unfortunate to say, but we all kind of end up where we're supposed to, you know? And she thought that was, initially, 6 years ago, that was the only choice that she had. And now, 6 years later, when she kind of has a good life, a decent life, and can go down certain paths, that's what she chooses.
Yeah.
Really doesn't say much about her.
Right. But she's still, I mean, she uses still sex to manipulate and gain power. I mean, that's what but maybe she's not as smart at it as Victoria has been, obviously. I mean, Ashley is sort of someone that thinks she's gaining power, thinks she's using the right men, whether it be Conrad, whether it be Daniel. But inevitably, I don't think or even going way back with Tyler, I don't think she's really she's not smart enough to utilize it well enough, or smart enough to see where, to really have power, if you know what I mean. Like, she's letting, her power gets undermined because I don't think she's smart enough to really know how to use it that well. She thinks she does, but she doesn't.
Well, you called her an opportunist. Would you like to change that description for her? And I don't mean it in like, would you like to call her a whore? No, I don't mean that. But an opportunist, I think, knows where they're going. And I don't think Ashley she thinks she has an end goal, but she really doesn't.
Yeah.
I mean, what is the end goal? To sleep to where?
You're right.
If that is the goal.
And that actually brings up that scene with Victoria where I think is Ashley looking in the mirror and she said, I used to picture myself too. And Victoria actually almost says, she did the whole obvious creative visualization thing she's talking about where I actually planned where I'd be in a year. I'd plan where I was in 2 years. So she said something to the
all the way
effect of
down
that.
to 5 years.
Yeah, she had something to that effect of saying to Ashley that I knew exactly where I was going and it led here, for good or bad, but she got what she wanted. So I think you're right. Ashley probably doesn't really have a 5-year plan.
Yeah, and I think, you know, that's a good comparison between Victoria and Ashley, is that exact fact. All right, let's talk about Ashley and Conrad and what that. I mean, when obviously it came into question when they actually hooked up, and that was Conrad's biggest defense against Victoria.
And it was never obvious. We always guessed that they hooked up, but I don't think it was ever stated they hooked up before. There was always kind of innuendos and little looks. And
it was as clearly stated without stating it.
Yes, yeah.
You know what I mean? Down to the first episode, we said it. You know, when they're on the boat, and Conrad says to Daniel, like, going back now, I can't, but it was like, you know, what makes you think that she's not, whatever it is.
Yeah, I know.
Go see the episode. It's a great episode. That's what I'll say. It's my defense.
Yeah. But this is the first time we, I guess, had evidence that it actually happened, I suppose, is what you can say.
Yeah. That was certainly evidence.
Not that we needed it.
But yeah, I mean, it got blasted out to them. I'm surprised it didn't get blasted more to more people. I mean, I thought, you know, usually it gets out to more people. This time it only went to Victoria.
Yeah, and was that ultimately a smart move by Emily? Because giving it to Victoria gave Victoria at that point, which she thought didn't play her way, but gave her another way to play Ashley, which I don't think Emily counted on, really, did she? To sort of get, because they're trying to vie for Daniel, the vote of the board.
Yeah.
Victoria, as always she does, takes a negative situation and turns it to her advantage. So they had a way to blackmail Ashley.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if Emily counted on that move. I mean, she did a great, beautiful counter move later.
Yeah, I mean, I think it just goes to show how fast both women are getting at these decision making. And ironically, it also shows the strength of Conrad and Victoria.
Yeah.
You know, they had a really nice scene of like, hey, who do you think this is? Oh, the initiative. Why? Because they have this motive. And it was a really great scene from, you know, when we first got introduced to Salvador of like, hello, Victoria. You know, so it really played nicely, all these different hints throughout the episode. I mean, I really do, for better or worse, you know, and their near death experience has really brought Conrad and Victoria better together.
They are.
Yeah.
And I mean, even when she's confronted with his infidelity, ultimately she has to realize that they have to stay united because they have a bigger cause together with against the initiative and protecting Daniel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Ashley goes to Corbet's.
In the bathrobe. I love that. The big bathrobes. That was very funny.
I mean, you know, and we can compare this, and hopefully you guys kind of get this reference. But Joan, Steven, hit the spoiler alert real fast. Steven, are you sleeping there?
Yeah, hello.
Steven loves to hit buttons, and the one time I call for it, he's asleep.
I almost played the revenge theme again. I was like, what? Wait, what?
All right. So for those of you who haven't been caught up with Mad Men, one of the characters, she's... How do I say this delicately? How would you say it delicately?
I can't think of a delicate ways.
AfterBuzz.
What are we doing? It's AfterBuzz.
Did
All right.
I give you any champagne in there?
All right.
I think he must have taken the rest of the bottle without us knowing.
I think so. That's why the bottle's gone. So one of the characters, they basically, in order to gain a company, they use a woman to sleep with the CEO or whatever top guy, and she does.
Yeah.
And that's what Ashley essentially becomes. And,
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
They haul her out.
Yes. In that episode, it was a lot more romanticized, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, true.
I mean, they just depicted Ashley as what she is.
Yeah.
Opportunist / whore.
Yeah. Well, she didn't really have much choice in this either. It's not like she's gone after Salvador because she thinks it's going to gain her any personal gain other than the fact that she's being blackmailed to do it in a way.
But she could have, here's the thing, she could have fallen on her sword, and she could have, I mean, if you really think about it.
You think she could have chosen not to do it?
The same way that the initiative gave Conrad a choice, but they were like, it's a choice. I mean, think about it. It's a choice that you might not be willing to make. She had a choice. She could have fallen on her sword, told Daniel, and then let him make the decision about what the ultimate truth is. And especially if, as Conrad was saying, like, hey, this happened before Daniel and her were going out, blah, blah, then she could have taken her chances. Yeah. But she didn't.
No.
So, and then I love how Aiden, here's what I don't like. Ashley did win in the sense that Aiden didn't gain Daniel's trust, and that was what this whole kind of plan was supposed to be, was Aiden gaining Daniel's trust, of him telling him, hey, where's Ashley? Oh, Ashley's about to go sleep with this guy. So Daniel...
So why didn't he gain Daniel's trust? He's got a problem with Aiden, hasn't he?
I think...
Other than the fact that he's dating Emily.
I think Daniel's learning this. Trust no one.
Trust no one, yes.
Yes. Manipulate everyone, trust no one.
Yeah.
And that's what he's doing. And unfortunately, the one person that he trusts the most is probably Emily.
Yes. The one he should trust the least.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's what it essentially comes down to. Yeah. You know, as they're shaking hands, he's like, hey, I didn't just gain Null Corp. I also gained your trust. Because remember, I could expose this corp to the public. And then, you know, his smile to Emily, that really just shows she's the woman that he likes. Yeah, yeah. Ultimately.
And keeps her photos on his computer.
Yes, yes. And deletes
Ashley. Gone.
So, I mean, that's going to come back in a big way. I thought Daniel would play... I mean, he obviously played a huge role tonight, but in terms of Nolan and that direct relationship, you know, there wasn't a lot that happened. I mean, certainly bringing back Marco was huge, but in terms of them reacting, it wasn't as big as I thought it would be.
Well, do you mean
they had their meeting, right? Daniel brings in
Marco. Oh, you mean the moment where Marco and Nolan met?
Yes.
Right. You felt should have been.
I felt that could have been bigger, but I felt Daniel would have been the one to make it bigger. But essentially, it was just a quick thing, and that was it. I don't know.
What do you mean by bigger? You mean isn't?
Yeah. I feel like Daniel should have gloated a little bit more. But I guess
he doesn't really know their whole story, that they were lovers and that.
No, so. He doesn't know that story. But I mean, I guess ultimately Daniel's just the good thing about that is that Daniel's just clear-headed on the fast track of, I want the company, I want to be a CEO, and I don't care how I get it. And so he's not into the gloating and things like that, which Conrad would have been, I guess.
So what do you think Daniel is just after power now? Do you think or is he seeking some kind of payback to his parents, or do you think he's just blindly going after power now?
Well, according to his parents, he's just after blind ambition. Yeah. Which is what I guess they were.
But it's also something to kind of show, you know, because he's always obviously had these very dysfunctional parents. Do you think it's also somehow proving that he can outdo them, and that there's something to it as well as, I mean, there's something there as well, not just...
Yeah, I mean, I think, I mean, certainly, you know, Freud would argue. Yeah, I mean, you know, if there's anything he's trying, I guess the big thing that they always throw around is truth. If anything, I guess he's after the truth in some sort of way. And he feels by having control / the most control he can, he's going to be the closest to truth that he can be.
And that he probably thinks that he more deserves that position because he hasn't done any wrong so far, if you know what I mean. Like, he's not, he probably doesn't see himself.
That's debatable.
Yeah, I know, but I don't think he sees himself as being as bad as his father. So I think maybe he thinks that somehow he deserves that role more or something. I don't know. And there's that scene, obviously, Emily, because she was trying to support him at the shooting range, was saying, you know, I'd rather have someone that doesn't have any scandal associated with the company, so that he would be a better face for the company.
Yeah. Which I guess that's when, you know, he knew that Emily was the one for him. Again.
Especially in that lovely ride. I
know.
Shooting. I loved that. Just as a side, the whole fashion in that shooting range was so different for everyone, wasn't it? With Victoria in her white pants and, you know, it was just such a different fashion look for all of them, but still very upper crust. But
it was an interesting thing. If you really break it down, Daniel got blindsided by Emily.
Yeah.
Which,
well, symbolically, she took the shot.
And and he didn't know.
Yeah.
He didn't see her there. He didn't, you know, he wasn't expecting it, and that's very symbolic of their relationship.
Yeah.
So
I think also she's playing that card constantly, isn't she? To sort of be there. She's never really out of his sight much, is she? Even though she is with Aiden, but she's constantly around Daniel. So he's constantly reminded about her, constantly sort of seeking her approval in a way.
Would Aiden allow her to date Daniel if it meant?
That's a good question. Will, yes, if it meant
getting revenge, whatever that means at this point.
Well, it looks like there is some, we can talk about their predictions, but it looks like there are some hints that might be leading that way.
Yes. Let's talk about Marco, Padma, and Nolan and dissect that, because that was pretty juicy.
And can we just say that thank you for doing a little dress up like Nolan tonight?
Yes, I love that. For those of you who don't, I have yellow shirt, collar up, one button buttoned.
Love it.
Top button unbuttoned.
Yeah, yes.
So very Nolan-esque.
Oh, behave.
Oh, I won't. Yes, because I was gonna dress up like Daniel, and then I realized Daniel, while he's a good-looking man, he's not the brightest bulb in the shed. And plus, all of you girls love Nolan, so I figured, why not? Why not be the guy everyone loves? Yeah. Yes. Speaking of love, this is an interesting love triangle.
Is it a triangle? Do you think it is gonna?
I mean, it is now. I mean,
well, it's a past, but
past
it's not a current
lover
love triangle, but
with a current lover.
Yeah.
And you know, it could have gone the way of, you know, he could have dismissed Marco, but now, interesting, the conversation that they had at the bar. Marco realized the biggest mistake was after he left Norcorp, he couldn't find another job.
Yeah.
And now Nolan's getting him a job.
So that he's going to be in the company. So we are going to see more of Marco.
We are. In the strong alliance or just a recipe for disaster?
But is it also he's got to keep... Well, Marco knows a little bit too much about that money and where it was supposed to go, right? So there is a matter of...
So keep your friends close, your enemies closer?
Yeah, because he stupidly told him about Amanda Clark all that way back when, right? Which we did see in that flashback. Oh.
We have a love triangle there.
Aww,
thank you, Stephen.
That's so beautiful.
For those of you who don't know what a love triangle looks like, check it out.
Yeah.
It looks like a triangle, by the way.
Yes.
If you're curious. Where was I?
I was saying that he told Marco about where the money went.
Yes.
That
and then,
500 million. So Marco thinks it should have gone to Amanda Clark, which he has not revealed. But Nolan knows that Marco knows, so he's got to protect that, right?
Yeah. Which leads the question: does Nolan tell Emily, "Hey, be prepared for this"?
Yeah. Well, Marco doesn't know who the real Amanda is, so that's
He
why
doesn't,
that's why he's making that comment. He doesn't think she even got the money.
Well, I know that, but does he tell Emily so that Emily tells Amanda, so that way Amanda's prepped and says, "Hey, I have the money."
Yes, exactly.
But
it's all in Swiss bank accounts. Don't worry.
yeah, so
I had to pretend I wasn't rich.
that's right, in order to gain Jack's love
Yes, exactly.
and take over this bar.
Yes, that's right. That could be a story.
It's all part of the plan.
That's right. I mean, it's got. I'm interested to see where this is going. Padma is not happy about this. I will say, Padma is not happy.
Yeah. And she apologized tonight for kind of getting him into trouble with the company, right? So
Yeah.
I'm still haven't decided about Padma, whether she's totally on Nolan's side or she has some other agenda. But going by tonight, she looks like she was on Nolan's side.
She looks like she's on Nolan's
Yeah.
side, but he's taken it a step further.
Yeah.
Because A, he's now hiring Marco. B, there's a plan that she doesn't know about, and he's like, "Hey, you always gotta stick it." I'm gonna paraphrase, but basically, stick it to your opponent as hard as he stuck it to you.
Yeah.
So I don't know if she's down for that cause. So we'll find out where Padma ultimately lies. I mean, just like Emily pushed Nolan all these years, he's now going to push Padma to see how far she can go.
Yeah. And also, don't forget, no, I don't know if this was revealed tonight when Nolan said to Emily, actually was in the beginning, that he had some other plan, right? Remember he was saying that?
Yeah.
And he said, "How do you like that? You know, basically, I've got something I'm hiding from you." Do you think that was? Do you think there's something else going on? He's obviously got some plans to get Nolan, get his company back, or to take Grayson down with it, or he's got some agenda thinking that he's planning, isn't he? Because now Grayson has 51%.
I think he had an agenda.
Yeah.
And he had to readjust it. I mean, his facial expression, he was really mad when he did not expect Marco. And as, you know, Aiden, Nolan, and Emily were all kind of together in Emily's house, you know, they all got burned the day before. And so now they've all had to readjust their plans accordingly. Right. And Nolan was one of those people. Right. So I think he has a new plan, but it certainly wasn't his original plan.
Okay.
So, all right, let's talk about Aiden and Emily. And this was the episode for me that was a revelation. And yes, don't pardon the pun. That Emily is really, this is her job for the rest of her life. And when she gets done with the Graysons, then she's just going to move on to somebody else. Or she's
You don't think she'll ever reveal that she's really Amanda Clark and live just as Amanda Clark?
But then then...
This is presuming the show finishes, because, I mean, what would she do then, right?
I mean, yeah, I mean, okay, so she reveals, then how many people are going to come after her? I mean, there's no true win, you know, because then the initiative could come after her. Daniel could come after, you know, think of all the people that could come after her.
Right.
Amanda could be upset because then guess what? If Amanda's leading a normal life, then by Emily coming out and saying,
I'm really Amanda,
then that's going to ruin Amanda's life.
Yeah.
So there's no winner here. And so everyone's lives is at stake, and this is, you know, there's no winning.
Yeah.
So ultimately, it's just, as we discussed last episode, it's, well, as the show has always been, it's infinity times infinity, right? It's always going circular. In last episode, you know, through Daniel's poem, it's all circular in order to keep what we have always kind of wanted or had or whatever. I forget the poem exactly.
Yeah.
So it's all just circular, essentially.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But I mean, it also
Kind of.
shows, we're talking about, also shows, I think the kind of deep connection that Aiden has and Emily have, because he really does know, out of all her men, whether it be Jack or Daniel, he really is the only man that really knows who she really is and what she really is.
Yeah.
So in terms of that, the connection they have now, you can see that it's very strong.
And she, you know, he says, like, we're going to ask, you know, can we ever have a normal life? And she says, no, can we have happiness?
Yes.
And so with Aiden, I think she can. And ironically, you know, every kind of decision last season worried about the fate of Jack. Now, not so much.
She's kind of, yeah.
You know, she cares for Jack.
So you don't think the pensive look at the christening was longing for Jack? It was more just longing for a normal life.
It was longing for Jack, but
Yeah.
then why is the Ryans in his life? You know, I don't think Amanda would ever let that happen, or Emily, I'm sorry, Emily would have let that happen in season 1.
Right.
You know?
So you mean she's not taking care of him? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
She cares, but she's not taking care
Taking
of
care
him.
of him. Good.
Yes.
She's kind of let that go. She's kind of let that, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And fall where it may,
Okay.
so to speak. I don't know.
Yeah, bottom of the ocean, we keep hearing.
And ironically, I liked how Aiden was like, you know, what's your thing towards Jack? Oh, just the thing from the past.
She said something about it was possibly going somewhere, but it just wasn't meant to be. I think she says that. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But her and Aiden, man, I guess I don't know, I'm liking them. Let's before we move on, where is this quote? The ending quote.
The only thing I'm addicted to right now is winning, you know?
I know you are. Who said that, by the way, Stephen? Who is that?
Is that Charlie Sheen?
Yeah, Charlie Sheen.
All right, there you go. Charlie Sheen's gonna have the ultimate revenge.
My success rate is 100%.
Oh, here we go. Wait, where is this quote? Where did I write? Wait, did you write this down? The quote?
Oh, but it was like the quote that was like...
The ending quote.
So like, well, you started writing it, and then I think I finished it.
All right. Revelations can help us accept the thing we need the most.
Yes.
Expose the secrets we so disapprove.
We're just as bad, right?
To hide and illuminate danger all around us.
Or dent.
And then you have the rest.
Which was...
I mean, by the way, for those of you watching, I mean, Catherine,
I have got the worst handwriting ever.
if you can honestly read that, you are a saint.
Well, can you read that?
We're passing notes, guys.
It can help us accept the things we need the most, expose the secrets we so desperately try to hide, and illuminate danger all around us. That's pretty good.
Okay, all right.
But none that...
No,
something else.
those are just notes.
No, that's better than mine. Look at my
All right, what do we got
scribble.
here? Maybe I can read yours.
Oh, you cannot read that.
Just pass it. There we go. All right, Stephen, play some music while I do this.
You haven't got a hope.
Oh, and
I can't even read my own writing.
danger all around us, the way somewhere in between.
Something about evil.
And then ultimately someone will destroy us, and that's when they come to the initiative, where the initiative is about to take a vote.
Yes.
So all in all, a very good season finale. We apologize that Gabby and Anna couldn't be here. We apologize for the champagne that could be here. With that, let's get into some news and gossip.
AfterBuzz TV News.
All right, so Katherine, I mean, Jesus, talk about why you want to follow her on Twitter.
Thank you.
Because at Katherine Tulich, by the way, she had a chance to meet all of these guys.
Yes. Yeah.
And then some, because she was at the what was it? It was the Golden Globes. What?
It's kind of the Golden Globes kickoff event. Kickoff for the season. You know, we're into award season now.
There's faux Amanda. I mean, I'm getting a side view of her. She's
I know.
showing...
She was barely in that dress. Can I just say?
Was she in character as a stripper?
I think she might have been. But this is basically the Golden Globes in-style party to announce Miss Golden Globes, and it's also celebrating young Hollywood. So basically, Miss Golden Globes this year is Francesca Eastwood, which people might know from Mrs. Eastwood and Company, the reality show that she did with her mother. So Francesca Eastwood is Miss Golden Globes, and then basically everyone was at this party. You know, from Homeland people, the younger cast members, you know, from a lot of shows, and a lot of Revenge people turned up. Margarita turned up. The gorgeous.
There you go.
Oh, isn't he beautiful?
He's also 40, but I mean, here's the thing. For a 40-year-old guy, he's. We're talking about Gabriel Mann, of course.
Yes.
And we'll post these onto facebook.com/AfterBuzzTV, and then you probably have them on your Twitter too, right?
Yeah, I put them on my Instagram and Twitter. Yes, I
There
do.
you go, Katherine Tulich again.
Yeah.
So that's Gabriel Mann. Oh, there's Gabriel Mann with Katherine Tulich.
At the party at
Look at him.
Cicconi's. It was
He's
at
a tall
Cicconi's.
guy.
He is. He had to lean down. Well, not that I'm very tall. But Krista B. Allen was also there, and also Ashley, our favourite. But they left kind of early. Gabrielle and Margarita are definitely the party animals from Revenge because they stayed till quite late. Especially Margarita. She was partying till pretty late. I think I even left before her, which is saying something. There she is.
That is a revealing dress.
Yes, exactly.
That is Steven approved.
That is, when do we get her on the show?
I know, exactly.
All right.
But I told Gabrielle about our AfterBuzz TV, and he said fantastic, and he said to tweet him, so we'll try.
Gabriel, no offense,
come
we've
on,
tweeted you
Gabriel.
8,000 times,
I know.
buddy. I even dressed up like you.
Exactly, come on.
I have pictures here at AfterBuzz with lipstick from women on it, okay? Gabriel Mann, if you're listening, or fans, just tweet Gabriel Mann.
We all tweet him. Tell him to tweet. Everyone just blast him with tweets.
Gabriel Mann, that's M-A-N-N.
Underscore. At Gabriel _ Mann.
Okay, and Mann is spelled M-A-N-N.
Yes.
2 N's. So let him know that he's got to get his booty to AfterBuzz.
Exactly.
Because, yes, he will make a lot, of women's dreams come true.
And can I just say he's just as gorgeous in real life. Yes, he really is. No, they not always are, but he's pretty sexy.
And then the rest of the news for this week was all kind of leading up to the finale. So obviously we won't recap that because that's just a recap of what we recapped. So with that, let's get to predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
All right. So our next episode is in January.
Yes.
I'm surprised we actually did get a teaser.
I know.
Usually they don't.
Yeah.
But ultimately, where do we think we're headed?
Well, I think probably one of the biggest things that is going to happen, and actually, just going back to my Madeline Stowe interview that I did a few months ago, she said that Victoria and Emily will form an alliance, and it looks like definitely by the end of this episode, there is going to be some kind of alliance going on, obviously to help Daniel. But now Victoria is coming to Emily with something, right? I mean, there's, and Emily said this is on her part leverage, but I think we're going to see a lot more of them together doing something. I'm not sure what.
Ironically, we're only on episode 9.
Yeah, so we kind of only about how many more have we got?
I think the last season we got 22.
So, because when it comes back in January, I presume it'll go through to May. So, unless they take another break. So,
so we're not even halfway through.
So we've got a lot to do, a lot more happening. Yeah. And I keep wondering whether the mummies will come back. Any of the mummies.
Yeah. Well, Akara, I think, has come back.
Yeah.
And
also, there was also some talk out there about Ashley's mother. I don't know whether that's going to happen, but someone was talking about it. Though I'm even surprised Ashley's still there. How come she wasn't booted out in the rain or something by the end of the show?
Yeah, we joked about that. By the way, thank you, Steven, for reminding me to do my reads real fast. Thank you guys, by the way. You guys corrected us. We actually have seen Conrad's father in past episodes in season 1. Right. So it's not the first time we're going to see him because he will be in a future episode. So I predict that. Real quick, thank you guys for rating, commenting on both iTunes and YouTube. We really, really appreciate it. We encourage you guys to do it continually. And more importantly, let your friends know. Not only does it help the show, especially if the friend is not a fan of Revenge, get them to be a fan of Revenge. Now get them to be a fan of our show. That helps both parties.
Exactly.
And after all, it is the season to give. Speaking of gifts, you probably, like most of us, are shopping on Amazon.com. So next time you make your Amazon purchase, go through AfterBuzzTV.com first. You will see an Amazon banner. Click through that banner. Is it an extra cost to you? No, it is not. And you get the item that you wished for, and we get a percentage. So that way,
hole in a donut.
I know, it's crazy. It's crazy. It is the season to give and give. We shall to you, and you shall to us. So until 2013.
Oh my God, not that far away.
This is Phil Svitek. and Katherine Tulich signing off. You can find Katherine Tulich at
Katherine Tulich, KATHERINE TULICH on Instagram and Twitter.
That's right. And you can find Gabrielle at Gabrielle. Is it underscore Loren?
Yes.
Loren.
Yes.
And Anna Koppel, that's Koppel for mayor.
KOPPL 4 MAYOR.
4 is spelled F-O-R, not 4 as in the number.
I thought they would know that.
No, they wouldn't, because 4 is spelled so many different ways. Koppel for mayor, Koppel FORMAYOR. And you can find me here at other AfterBuzz TV after shows. In fact, check out last week's Jersey Shore. Stephen Lemieux, where can they find you?
You can find me at Twitter at Stephen Lemieux, STEPHENLMLEMIEUX. I totally forget my name sometimes.
That's right. And until 2013, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.